Okay, so with this object still selected, to let's press Ctrl G on our keyboard so that we can see its grid line and isolate selection. Okay, and with this object still selected, let's go to Create tab, and in Create tab, under Geometry, let's create a cylinder object, and using the left mouse button, click and drag over here. Release the left mouse button, hover your mouse up, and to end the creation process, do a single left click and you are done creating a cylinder object. Now let's go back to top view, press F3, and go back to modifier tab. And we have to move this object and align it right at the center of this grid line. Okay, yeah, you may want to move it in y-axis or just enter a value of 0 here under in transform type in dialog in y-axis 0. Okay, and let's put our object over here and reduce the radius size by dragging these adjustment arrows. Okay, so I think that would be enough. Okay, right, and now the next thing we need to do is go to front view and move this object over here and reduce its height by dragging this arrow. Alright, and now let's go back to perspective view, press F3, and set the sides around 50. Okay, and now select the this object, and go back to Create tab, and under Create tab, Geometry, click this drop down arrow and choose Compound, and in Compound select Provolone, and make sure that the parameters is set to subtract, and click the start picking button and click this cylinder. Now let's go into advanced options and check this make quadrilaterals, and make the quad size around 1, and click this remove only invisibles. Okay, so now go to modifier tab and apply an edit poly modifier above this Provolone layer, and let's enter into a polygon mode, and you can see here now that these faces are already selected. Now try to scaling these selected faces using the scale tool, and it's obviously attached to this object. So let me undo this one, and with this object faces selected, let's go under edit geometry group and click this detach settings box, and click this detach to element and press OK. Now let's try to scale these selected faces, and we can now scale these selected faces without affecting this area of this object. Okay, let me undo this one, and we have to scale this down very slightly. Okay, so that distance would be enough, I think, and scale it up in in y-axis, and watch for its distance over here. Okay, so I think that would be enough, and if you are done, let's go and enter into a border mode so that we can select these borders. And with this border selected, let's go to edit borders group and click this bridge. Right, now let's activate the edge mode so that we can select this edge. So you can select any of these edges over here and hold the shift key on your keyboard while uh, selecting the other one beside your current selected edge, and it will instantly select all of these edges right at this part of our object. Right click and click connect box settings and make sure that this connect edge properties is set to 1 and click check. And now with these edges selected, let's try moving it in Z axis. Okay, and let me undo that, and let's go under edit geometry group and set the constraint to normal and try to move that selected object in Z axis. Okay, so let's undo that once more, and we have to move it very slightly at Z axis, of course. Okay, now don't forget to set back the constraint to none. And with these edges selected, right click and choose chamfer box settings, and let's zoom in over here and make sure that you have to scroll this arrow and give it a little distance between this chamfer. Okay, and press check. Alright, now let's exit into our editing, deselect, and check if everything looks okay. Okay, so I think we are done creating this cap this cap object, and you can now exit into a isolate selection toggle and deselect. Now the next thing we need to create is the spoon.